Well, it's 12:07. Hopefully people have been able to join us. Welcome everybody and good afternoon to the Becca Conference 2021. I appreciate you joining us. We are here and excited to have our 18th annual Becca Conference occurring virtually like we did last year. But we're going to be doing this from starting today until the 15th. And I hope that you get something out of each and every day and are able to participate. Each day we're going to have multiple breakout sessions to choose from, with a panel session occurring on Thursday. Friday will be our plenary session and keynote. All sessions are being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel and the conference website sometime after the conference conclusion. There will also be available educational clock hours, which Gina, are you going to describe that for us, please?
Yeah, sure. Clock hours can be signed up both for CJE and CLE hours at the link that I'm going to put in the chat here. You only need to do this once during the entire conference, and attendance will be tracked for all the different sessions. For educational clock hours, that's a different link through PD Enroller. Once again, you only have to register once for the entire conference if you haven't already, and that link is here.
Great. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Today, we're going to have the breakout. We're going to have 3 breakout sessions, and those 3 breakout sessions, which the links will appear in the chat just momentarily after I give you kind of a brief description of each of them, and you're going to be able to choose what you'd like to participate in. So the first track, we have the 3 tracks. One of them is the community track, and this is specifically going to be talking about home visits today, the benefits and safety and considerations. So we're going to talk a little about training and knowledge and experience gained from law enforcement days. We'll be translating how someone can safely do and conduct a home visit. The other one next will be, and the educational track will be the Ed Camp it's called Ed Camp for school administrators and teams. And so it's going to be talking about this new science that supports intentional practice in identifying and boosting positive and benevolent childhood experiences to neutralize or reduce the impact of childhood adversity. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and join that one as well. And then finally, we have the care track, which is called Building Benevolent Childhood Experiences, BCE, to buffer the impact of ACEs, right? So adverse childhood experiences. And again, this is going to be learning how to use a screening tool for BCE to create concrete ways to support youth in any setting and build resiliency in others, becoming an intentional part of our favorable childhood experiences and counteract long-term effects of our adverse childhood experiences. So those are going to be our 3 tracks today and our 3 presentations. So encourage you to figure out which track you'd like to be joining today, and go ahead and those will be in the chat if they aren't already there. Don't know if are they already there. Gina will put those into the chat.
So the breakout rooms will open once we're ready to go to breakout rooms. Specific note for the Ed Camp session, that will be happening on a different Zoom link. I will drop that link in the chat for folks right before we go to session. It's also in your calendar invites for today. If you scroll down to where the sessions are, it has that Zoom link just because of the structure of it. We're doing a separate link for that one.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. And Ellis, what is next for us?
I think it's me, Glenn.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I can't see.
Thank you, Glenn. Hello, everyone, and welcome to year 18 of the Becca Conference. My name is Rachel Satilli, and I serve as the President and CEO of the Center for Children and Youth Justice. And I just want to take a moment and welcome all of you. And as a step towards honoring the truth and achieving healing and reconciliation, I begin today by acknowledging that we're hosting today's conference on the unceded ancestral lands of the Duwamish people, a people that are still here to continue to honor and bring light to their ancient heritage. And if you'd like to take a moment and acknowledge the native land you are on, please do so in the chat. And while you're doing that, I was just sitting here thinking, like, this is year 18. Is there anyone out there in virtual Zoom land that has been to all 18 BECA conferences? If you are, we want to know. And anyone 10 years, a decade of BECA conferences? Let us know how many years you have attended the BECA conference. And if this is your first time, we want to know, we want to give you a special welcome from all of us from the BECA Task Force and CCYJ. Welcome, and we're excited to have you join us. A little bit about CCYJ. So our mission is to create better lives for a generation of children and youth by reforming the child welfare and youth criminal legal systems. And our work centers around reimagining how the child welfare and youth criminal legal systems can better support our children and young people, regardless of their race, gender identity, sexual orientation, or background. And you are the heart of our work. So all of you, thank you for all of your tireless efforts on behalf of youth. This year's BECA conference centers on connections with intentions. And we're incredibly grateful for the championship lineup of presenters we have for you, not only today, but throughout the week and ending with our plenary on Friday, who will be focusing on key themes of community, as Glenn mentioned, community, education, and care. And at last year's conference in particular, during an unusual time of uncertainty that remains even today, the power of sharing innovative and adaptive ideas with each other led to pretty impressive and incredible immediate problem solving. So we look to you for ways in which we can strengthen our collective partnership and bring forth continued creative solutions to address the fundamental needs of our youth and those who care for them. So continue to bring forward the problems you're facing. We want to know them, the system gaps, things that are not working as well as they could, and your solutions, creative, innovative ideas to design solutions together. A special shout out to our CCYJ BECA team who are managing a lot of themes, right? A lot of things for us to have this happen this week, and that's Gina T, Ellis, and Billy. Get to know them. They're pretty incredible human beings and deeply committed to the work that we're doing. And our BECA Task Force co-chairs, you met Glenn Hasslinger, the Director of People Management at Bellevue Public Schools, and Commissioner Barb McInvale from Pierce County Superior Court. Thank you both for your leadership and unwavering commitment to support schools, courts, service providers, youth, and families in Washington State. So it's my pleasure to now introduce you to Krissy Johnson, the Attendance Program Supervisor from OSPI, and she's going to formally welcome us and kick off this year's BECA conference. So Krissy, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Krissy Johnson, and I'm the Attendance and Truancy Program Supervisor at OSPI. Many of you I recognize. I'm really glad to be here with all of you today. I'm joining from the traditional lands of the Puyallup tribe. And I want to thank you for making time to be here to learn with your peers across the state. And to that end, I wanted everyone to see who was here. And so Gina, could you launch the poll? We wanted to get a sense of your role, your organization. So take a second to answer the poll.
And if your profession was skipped on that poll, my apologies. Zoom only allows me to put 10 options, and we have far too many diverse groups. So if your option is not in there, please just drop it in the chat.
Absolutely, yes. Great advice. Thank you, Gina. I also want to reiterate, Rachel, the thanks. So while you're responding to the poll, the organizers, I want to say thank you, CCYJ team, for creating this space for 18 years. That's That's huge. That's significant. This space is a place where practitioners and experts across the state that are serving youth can come together to learn. And I welcome everyone. Gina, do you want to go ahead and close the poll? I don't know if everybody responded, but it'll at least give us a sense of who's here. Okay, we've got a wide range from courts to ESDs, district leadership, our district attendance and truancy liaisons, school leaders, attendance clerks. So as you move through the rest of the week, know that these are your learning peers. Excellent. Okay, I have just a few thoughts to share today before we launch into learning. First, I want to acknowledge that over the past year and a half, the people in this room, educators, administrators, courts, community partners, responded to the pandemic and the shift to remote and hybrid instruction with what I saw as creativity, compassion, and dedication. Not only were we educating remotely, but the laws and the rules changed, specifically on attendance and truancy. And these were big disruptions from the way that we did things before the pandemic. And in many instances, it was painful. I'm thinking of all the teachers and attendance clerks who were responsible for taking remote attendance last year. But I also saw throughout the pandemic that school and district staff were doing incredible things like creating outreach and engagement teams to connect and locate students. Court staff that partnered with school districts to call parents and do home visits. Courts that created referral processes to formally engage youth and families without a petition. And community organizations who centered youth leadership to mentor other youth who are disengaged. And then a world of supports that I haven't named or I don't even know about. And we saw it from all sectors and systems. We saw innovation and we saw care. Now, here we are, 1 month into school, and our current reality is different, very different in some cases, and harder than we anticipated and planned for in the spring and in the summer. Here's what I'm hearing. With the return to in-person, we're seeing students that have been out of school for a year and a half. They're returning with bigger behaviors that are more widespread, so more kids. 8th graders have more learning to do about being in a school setting with their peers than maybe they've had to do since they were in kindergarten. Quarantine and COVID-related absences are limiting students' access to instruction in the school setting, causing educators to scramble to provide remote learning support. COVID's impacting teacher and staff absences, so that principals and in some places district staff are teaching classes because substitutes aren't available. That excitement we had about kids coming back to in-person and that hope for a honeymoon, for a lot of us, for a lot of you, is not there right now. And for many of you, it's not going well. I'm hearing people are tapped and they're tired in ways that we didn't think were possible after last year. Many of you are looking for adult mental wellness and self-care strategies. Those are critical, those are important. We'll be learning about some of those in the conference this week. It's also important for us to remember that these crises are systems issues and you cannot self-care your way out of that. Some of you are doing fine. Some of you might even be thriving right now, and that is wonderful. For those of you that aren't, I just want to say that you're not alone. You're doing your best, and be kind to yourselves, and thank you for being here today. With all of that said, attendance, engagement, and re-engagement remain critical cornerstones for our students and for our systems. The power of attendance is to signal us that students are missing out on valuable instruction, and that instruction happens in the classroom, in the hallways, and extracurricular activities. Attendance not only signals us when there might be a potential barrier at home, but when our system is creating barriers, and those barriers impact students' attendance. Attendance work is not for the faint of heart. It really requires us to look deeply at our systems in collaboration with our teams, our staff, our community, our students and families. And maybe right now we can't do as much as we once could, or other priorities are taking up all or most of our capacity. I'm here to keep reminding you and encourage you and support you in any way that I can, in any way that OSPI can, to keep attendance and engagement on our plates, if not at the center, because of why we care about attendance. We care about attendance because we care about checking on student safety and well-being. We care about attendance because we care that students have access to education that will help them become valued and active citizens. And we care about breaking down barriers and systems that stand in their way. So with that, I just want to thank you all again for being here. I hope there's some wonderful learning and connecting with your peers this week. Thanks again to CCYJ. Please feel free to reach out to me with your questions or concerns, or if you are feeling alone and you would like to connect with an attendance clerk or another district truancy liaison or another principal in the state, I can help you do that. EWSP can help you do that. So please feel free to reach out. Thank you, and I'll hand it back to the conference organizers.
Gina, do you want to open the breakout room?
Yeah, just 1 second, and I will drop the link for the Ed Camp in the chat and open up the breakout room. All right, you should be getting a message that says that you can join one of 2 available breakout rooms. That is Shane Gardner's presentation on benefits and safeties considerations of home visits and building benevolent childhood experiences. Let me grab the link real quick for the Ed Camp one. And if you are having trouble joining one of those breakout rooms, please let us know and we will help you get into the session of your choosing for Ed Camp. Okay. There is the Ed Camp Zoom link. Folks joining. Billy, I'm going to jump over to the Ed Camp to assist over there. And I see that people are jumping into the rooms that they. Yes, I can go over Kurt again. So that is the first breakout room available is home visits. That's breakout room number 1. Community home visits is what it's listed as. Led by Shane Gardner for home visits, safety, and benefits, and then building benevolent childhood experiences. That's under the care breakout room, led by Mary Virginia Maxwell. And I put the link in the chat for the education Ed Camp for school admin and teams link.
Can you throw the link in there one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, no
for the
problem.
education one.
Yeah. Where are the links?
And could you possibly say the link out loud? Because I can't see the chat box at the moment because I'm on my phone.
Oh, yes. If you're joining by phone, that would be challenging. I do have a phone number for that one to join, but I have to get into that room to be able to see it. Billy, would you be able to take over the sorting of people into Zoom rooms here?
Yeah,
and I will go join that one and
thing.
send you the link for the phone number.
If you are not in a room and you know which one you want to be, just keep throwing it in the chat and I am assigning people.
Okay, thank you. Did it not send out to everyone?
Yeah, we're here in Yakima County. We're not seeing any links, any information links to. I see one for Ed Camp, but we don't see any for care.
It should have sent out a message to everyone to join a breakout room. There's only a Zoom link for the Ed Camp.
I did click join and it just says in progress, so it's not letting me in.
What sort of message did you send? Email or please?
No, it's just a message that comes right on Zoom, and it gives you an option to join a room. It's fine. I can assign you where you want to go, Kurt.
You guys are great. Thank you.
No problem. What room do you want to be in?
Care. I think it's called Care.
Sweet.
Thanks so much.
Should have seen something pop up that gives you an option now.
I'm helping assign too, so if you're communicating in the chat for your room or working in the background, make sure you get to where you want to.
Hi, could I get help getting into the community breakout room, please?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
Teresa, where did you want to go?
Oh, damn it.
Room 1, please.
What did I get out?
Would you guys mind sending me
Can I
to
go
the
to the
home
care?
one, please?
Joe, where did you say? Joe from Stevens, where did you say you wanted to go?
The home visit room one.
I would like that one too, please.
And so would I, please.
And so would I, please.
Can you send me to the educational one?
I go to the educational one too, please.
May I be sent to room 1, please?
Room 1, please.
Yeah.
You would like to go to the educational one, please?
The educational one is it. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, and you have to click on the link in the
All right.
chat. So that is the only one where you actually are leaving the room. That camp one should be in the chat. I will drop it one more time as well.
Would you please add me to home visit?
Yes.
Thank you.